Hello everyone, how you doing? Welcome back to a bit of TSW4, and you know, something I've not been using for quite a long time is the scenario designer. There's lots of clever ones that you can get from the Creators Club, but I wanted to put the 142, the Pacer, onto the Northern Trans Pennine. One of my favourite units, running on one of my favourite routes. So I've just set up a little scenario. There's just us on the track. We're going from Staylbridge, that's where we currently are, down to Manchester Victoria. It's just a short run. Couple of stops on the way. The first one, Ashton-under-Lyne. So we're going to get into the cab and we're going to get everything set up and we'll be ready to go. So I'm looking forward to this because I don't think I've had the 142 on NTP so far. And of course, you know, it did run on this line. And if you've got the Train Sim Classic version of this line, then you'll be probably running the Pacer up and down quite often. But let's get the doors open. We've got plenty of people on board already, look. Back to the 80s clothing once again, which is typical of this route. Quite nice. I'm not putting the safety systems on because there aren't any on this route. It's too old to have the safety systems implemented. But destination board is ready. Actually, you know what? I should run down to the back and I should also do the destination board down here as well, because otherwise people won't know where it is we're going. So Manchester Victoria is near to where we need to be. Right, destination light on. There we go. Right, let's get this closed and we can lock the doors and we can get going. So let's do that. Let's lock the door to the cab. Get the doors locked. There they go. Off we go. Ashton-under-Lyne is in 1.3 miles. Let's open a window, shall we? I've got the dynamic weather switched off, actually, so that we get some benefit of the sunny weather. Let's get some of that wonderful sound in. Got a 15 miles per hour coming out of Staylbridge. So we'll just ease it past the signal box. We don't want reporting for anything. Hope everybody is having a great time and is enjoying TSW. I certainly am. I've been playing a lot of TSW and a lot of Train Sim Classic, trying to mix it up between the two. And this is how I came up with this idea of putting the 142 on Northern Trans Pennine. I'm going to have a look on the Creators Club because I'm sure there'll be some scenarios, as mentioned, that people have created using this unit, with lots of traffic going backwards and forwards. I'm looking forward to that. I'll go and have a look after this, but I was just sat around and I thought, I've got half an hour. Let's take the 142 out. So that's what we're doing. And we can get to 75, so let's give it the beans. You can hear it changing gear, which is quite good. So it's just a short stopper service. Let's just have a look what we've got. We've got Ashton-under-Lyne is first. Then we've got Park, Miles Platin, and then finally Manchester Victoria. So that's what we're doing. The other place I've been running the 142, by the way, is up on some of the older routes that we've got. Anywhere where we've got the 101, I've been substituting it for the 142 because I prefer it. I like the 101, but it's the gear changes. It's a lot of work, isn't it? It's a classic. It's a classic unit. And on this route, it's well suited. But you get it on the Tees Valley as well. But the Tees Valley is great for the 142 also. So and going back to the older DLCs and just mixing it up a little bit with some of the newer units that we've got. Especially ones that are... Oh, and I'm coming in really hot here. Come on. Come on. You know, we might overshoot that. Oh, we might just be alright. Let's get the doors open. Yeah, I've been going back and I've been, you know, going to the routes that suit these units and just putting it on. So Tees Valley, there is this one, and they're both pretty lengthy routes as well. You get a good run. Obviously, we've got Blackpool branches where the 142 is actually coming in from. So plenty of options. Start mixing it up a bit. If you're just running the standard, the trains that come with the routes on those routes, just try creating a few scenarios yourself. And if you don't, go on the Creators Club and just have a look and pick a few up. Then you don't have to do the work yourself, but you can reap the benefits. There's a lot of really good ones on there. But this is Ashton-under-Lyne. We're going to get the doors closed. And off we go to Park, which is 4.1 miles. So we'll hop back in. Some decent speeds on this route as well. So we were at 75 just earlier. Well, we had permission to go to 75. We didn't quite get to it. We can get to 50 on this stretch. So it's a good chance to run the pacer up, put it, no pun intended, through its paces. Forgot there's some semaphore signalling as well on this route. On Northern Trans Pennine, I don't tend to run the stopping services like that very often at the smaller stations. I do the express runs between Manchester and Leeds and vice versa. And I do a lot of the heavy freight pack stuff that we got in the Class 40 as well. So some of these services are good because you get to have a look at some of the stations you don't normally stop at. Ashton-under-Lyne is one of those, and Park coming up is another, which I don't even know if I've stopped at Park. I probably have. I probably have in the 101. But the big passenger trains, and I'm speeding, the big passenger trains hauled by the 47s and the 45s probably don't always stop there, so let's take a look outside, shall we? We'll have a bit of horn action. Gotta watch that speed. Gotta tell you, I think these, these 80s routes, these are my favourite routes in the game. Rather than saying my favourite route, which as you know is Blackpool branches, it was Northern Trans Pennine. I think all these 80s routes have got a little bit something about them. That's the era that I remember, you see. I think that's probably why. It was the era that I grew up in. It's the most familiar to me. I probably looked at the trains when I was younger and thought, oh, I'd love to drive one of those. Now through Train Sim World and Train Sim Classic we do get to do that, don't we? So quite lucky in that respect. 2.5 miles to Park. Probably done quite a few miles, you know, in this 142. I've near enough, on the PS5, I've near enough completed everything. Blackpool branches. I've really gone to town on that one. I'm on the PC today because that's just a little bit easier for me recording, but I must have done quite a lot of miles on the PS5 in the 142. I mean, many of us were waiting for a 142, weren't we, for many years in TSW. We've been around in TSW from the beginning. Players were calling for a 142 pretty much straight away, and when Tees Valley came out, everyone said, where's the 142? It'd be perfect. We must be getting a 142 low-code DLC. What we didn't, we had to wait till Blackpool Branches. And I think the Blackpool Branches was a great route for it to come out on. But it could have been released really for any of these routes, couldn't it? It's definitely suited. There's a bit of bobbing around going on as well. Just on this stretch. We're tipping left and right. Backwards and forwards. I don't know what cab sway I've got set to on the PC actually. That's an interesting point. I have it turned down on the PS5, but I don't think I've altered it on the PC. So we're getting the maximum effect, I think, with this. How are we doing? We've got a 45 coming up, which is just before the station, right after this next signal. So I'll put a little bit of brake in there, make sure the throttle is fully off. Here's the signal. It's 45, so that's good. I had, when the scenario designer came out, I had an initial flurry of creating lots of different bits and pieces, but I really have let it fall by the wayside. I think because there's been such an influx of new routes coming out, and new DLC, there's been lots of new stuff to play without going back and creating stuff for the, for my favourites. So that opportunity is still there, so I'm going to start using it again. Then I can keep coming back. And we'll stop here at point. I don't recall stopping here at all. And like I said, I played this route quite a bit. Get the doors open. Some of these stations are full of clutter, aren't they? They're a little bit run down. Look, we've got stuff just everywhere. I don't even know if this is still a station. Is it? Is Park still a station these days? I'll tell you what we can do, because I've spotted them. Why don't we get a couple of these? Shall we go down the way that we're meant to? God, it's dingy down here. Look at this. There's the route map. Let's go up this way, because I did spot another one. It might make us slightly late this, but there's another. The old Traveller's Fair. Squidgy sandwiches. Anything else on this side? I don't think so, unless something's hiding around here. Nope. Okay, let's do it the naughty way. Just take care. Don't ever do this in real life. There we go. We'll jump back on. Sorry about that, everybody. Oh, everybody. Sorry, madam. They've all left you. Park's obviously a popular place, I think. Right, let's get the doors closed. Miles Platin, but it's less than a mile. So it won't take us long to get there. You can see the bounce if you look between the two units. You can see it bouncing away there. And like I said before in different videos, walking down a pacer is a bit of a challenge. It can be a little bit of a challenge with the way it bounces around like that. Okay, 600 yards. And then we're going to drop down into Manchester Victoria. Then platform 10, I believe it was. We do have a 20 right after the signal. So we're a little bit over speed. It's got such a curve, this station. that you wouldn't be allowed through at any other speed. I don't think. Far too dangerous. You can see another collectible there on the wall, look. You spot them as you go and it's so tempting to just jump out and get them. Try and stop it on the money. I'm interested if this lady disappears. She's still there, look. She's sticking with us. She must be going doing a shopping in Manchester. There's only one guy left as well in the back part of the unit. Let's have a look around the locality. Plenty of terraced houses down there. I think this station, as I recall, this station is completely gone now. It looks pretty closed up on here, doesn't it? Looks pretty run down and closed up. The 80s was a little bit like that though, wasn't it? And then there was a lot of regeneration. Certainly up north, anyway. Right. Manchester's next. And it's downhill all the way from this point. Let's try and observe the speed limits though. You've got a 20 still coming out of the station. A step of braking. Even the track sounds are great. I love that. Right, we can do a 40. No, we don't. We've got a 20 coming up. Got to watch that. False sense of security there. A 40 and a 20. There we go. There's the 20. And now back to 40. Must have just gone over a junction where we needed to be 20 again. It's quite a steep hill, this. If you do this in one of the locals like the 47 or the 40, the 45, you can really give it some grunt up this hill going back the other way. Be interesting to see how the pacer gets up the hill actually. Not tried that yet. Keep an eye on that speed. It's still quite steep. We do have a 15 coming up into the station as well, which we need to look out for. And these days, this approach into Manchester looks so much different now with all the, the trams on the left-hand side. It's totally changed. There's no arena. Usually you would see the arena right in front there, right next to the station. You can't see that. That doesn't exist in this version. Right, so I'm not following my own advice in watching for the 15, so we need to get that right down, or else we'll derail. There we go. That's better. I'm admiring the scenery so much I'm not paying attention to the speed changes. So the nice thing is, it's also routing us into the bay platform as well. So that is the best place for us to be. The most authentic place for us to come in is the bay platform, platform 10. So we'll just come into the station. We'll let our people off, all 2 of them. and we'll get the doors open. And that is it. That is our short hop from Staylbridge down to Manchester Victoria. Hope you've enjoyed it. It's been a lot of fun. Don't forget, go and create your own scenarios if you've not done that before. It's not difficult. If you want to create one just like I've done with just you on the track, it's fairly easy. You just set up your own path and you can get into it that way. Or you can set up a little bit more complicated with other AI services going backwards and forwards. And if you set off the rails modes, you can pretty much put any train on any track, providing they fit in the station, of course. So have a mess around with that. I'd encourage you to do that. Have fun, take care, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.